Oh, what's happening, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy. With me, your host, Ian. The pain, the never-ending, sickening pain of the last 18 months. This is 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons watching my club, Chelsea. Getting ugly now, you'd have to say. We're going to reflect on that. Not in the studio, in my living room. In the chair, sitting down, mate, because I need to sit down. I ain't standing up, talking about that performance. I might just fall over and start violently regurgitating everywhere. Chelsea 2, Wolves 4 in the Premier League. Wolverhampton Wanderers have done the double. Gary O'Neill's Wolves have done the double over Chelsea in the Premier League this season. Gobbled up 6 points from us. No problems at all. No problems at all. Getting ugly at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea fans sing for previous owner Roman Abramovich. And I saw Louis Benavente, Chelsea content creator, explain how some Chelsea fans were joining in Sacked in the Morning for Mauricio Pochettino. We're going to try and talk about the game a little bit, guys, but of course we just have to talk about the big picture. It's just draining, man. Like, I'm a massive Chelsea fan. I'm obviously trying to be as philosophical and methodical as much as possible. I feel like as a content creator, I've got this, like, and this is just me, everyone's different, but and this is how I see I feel like I've got this responsibility to not just get carried away, because I want to... I want to be as like I say, as analytical as possible, and I want to see the big picture, and it's so easy to get swept up in the immediacy of the crap stuff, and it's so hard to blame someone, bro. Like, I know in theory, Pochettino is a really appropriate profile of manager for the project, and I know in theory the project is a really appropriate idea so Chelsea can generate revenue and have good players for the long run, and putting on these young players. And I know as well, I know bringing in just a winner now will want to spend money on their own expensive players, which now will make us in trouble with financial fair play. Whether you like the project investment or not, Chelsea are all in on this. And to go against that would damage us even more. We want to blame someone. Maybe it is time to blame the manager. We can talk about that, and we will talk about that in a moment. But whether it's the owners, you want to look at the owners who, by the way, like, I'm not happy with any of this, bro. I'm turned 35 next month. I've seen all kinds of, well, to be honest, Chelsea were pretty good in the 90s as well, but I've known Chelsea to be very good, but I hate this. I hate it. Like, it sucks, man. When you love Chelsea and it's your team and you're really, really into it, it's sickening. I don't need to tell you that. I'm certain that the vast, vast majority of people watching this video are Chelsea fans. But when you got to talk about it for work, look, it's an amazing job. I feel blessed. I worked very hard to get here. I've done 1,000 of different jobs in my time. I've got a first-class degree in music. I did loads of different things. I don't want to feel like I've just fallen into YouTube. I have worked very hard in my life, and I'm blessed to have this as a full-time job. But it ain't all freaking rainbows, man. And when you're so annoyed and upset with your team it's just grinding you down, and it's your job to somehow try and make sense of it. It freaking sucks, man. It double sucks. Just something that people don't think about, but I will talk about it today. Look, So we'll talk about the owners, the directors, and the manager in just a minute. Let's talk about the game very quickly. Chelsea play what is a 4-2-3-1, not a 4-3-3 in this game. Petrovic in goal. Can I just say, I feel so sorry for this goalkeeper. This guy's one of our cheaper purchases, 14 million pounds from the MLS. He's eating goals for breakfast, and it's just not his fault. I'd argue he's still playing very, very well. Chilean Thiago Silva, Axel Disasi, and Gusto in the back line. We are going to talk about those performances in just a moment. Caicedo and Enzo in the middle, Conor Gallagher behind Nkunku, flanked by Palmer and Sterling. Substitute appearances from Nico, Carney, Mudryk, and Alfie, and Benoit Badiashile, oddly enough. Chelsea score in the 19th minute. A lovely goal. Cole Palmer on his weaker foot and assisted by Moises Caicedo. It is a great goal. We're at Stamford Bridge. We're feeling good. Defensive player Caicedo showing that he can play, line splitting assists. Beautiful stuff there. Cole Palmer, like I said, finishing on his weaker foot. Great goal. 1-0 up. And that was the fun part of this game. And to be honest, the opening 3 minutes was really wobbly from Chelsea, but we sort of settled. And at that point, we're like, okay, life is okay as a Chelsea fan. Life comes at you fast. A couple of minutes later, Cunha scores a wickedly deflected goal, I believe, off Thiago Silva. Not the greatest moment from Thiago Silva, and I know he scored a goal and he loves Chelsea and all this, but we got to talk about him as well, generally. And then, yes, so it's 1-1. And at the end of the half, Axel Disasi own goal. It's another wickedly deflected goal. So, at this point, we're losing 2-1. I feel really sorry for Georgia Petrovic. I check out the halftime stats. We've got like 0.75 or something, and they've got 0.35, and they've scored 2 goals from it. And at that point, I know we're losing, but I'm thinking, well, we got good players on the bench. That's pretty unlucky to concede those 2 goals with that, value of attacking play from the Wolves team. So whatever. I mean, it sucks. We need to be doing a lot better, but whatever. Then the second half came, mate. Moises Caicedo gets booked. I think he was really bad in this game. Acuna scores his second goal. And it was a great goal, this one, to make it 3-1. At that point, I was like, okay, yeah, you deserve all the win you get here. Because those first 2, I was like, well, a couple of deflections. They're a bit lucky. But at that point, I'm like, yeah, all right, mate. And then Cunha completes his hat-trick later on in the 82nd minute. Thiago Silva wins one back. Yeah, or gets a consolation back in the 86th minute, assist Mudryk. And at that point, the commentators are going, oh, it's going to be 10-minute stoppage time. And you think, maybe an epic 4-4 comeback and we'll still be, But no, the game fizzles out. At 2-4, the points go to Wolves. Let's talk about player performances. Like I said, Petrovic gets a pass for me. I'm sure many of you he gets a pass for. Gusto, terrible! Awful! I said it on my, by the way, Instagram, at Football Yannick. Every game I do a halftime live stream and chat to you guys. So at Football Yannick if you're interested in that. Malo Gusto, for the first time, he's made me massively miss Reece James. Like, we were talking about how we're going to have to get them both on the pitch when Reece is fit. No. You do this to me, Gusto. You are out, bro. I mean, look, it's one game. Chelsea generally were awful. It's not right. He's a young player, and we shouldn't judge him generally. But this was, make no bones about it, boys, girls, ladies, and gentlemen. This was a disaster class from Malo Gusto. Of course, he got a booking, lucky to get away with one. He conceded a penalty. Defensively, just friggin' awful, bro. Axel Disasi scored an own goal. Fun for him. Awful. He looks better at the end when he was playing kind of as a right back. He looks like he's a centre back who looks better right back than centre back. And Thiago Silva, I love him. He's a legend of the game. He scored a goal. He loves Chelsea. He deserves eternal respect. But he's in his 40th year of life, and he's not been great recently. And I think, and this is just my opinion, I think Chelsea would play better with 2 young centre-backs that can run back in transition. I do see the future being Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana. None of these centre-backs, whether it's Disasi, Thiago Silva, Badiashile, I don't think they're going to be starters, or they shouldn't be starters in a year's time. Ben Chilwell got a booking, probably the best of the back line, but still was pretty bad defensively. But I think Chelsea were just falling apart. But hey, I love Ben Chilwell, so I don't want you guys to make it sound like I'm giving him a pass. I'm not. Everyone sucks. Enzo, probably not as bad as most. I do actually feel sorry for Enzo Fernandez. I think you put him in a Guardiola team, and people are just talking about his quality. Remember how good he was on opening day against Liverpool, and then I do have a little bit of sympathy for Enzo Fernandez. Moises Caicedo, poor. After assisting a great goal, he gives away the ball. And there's a turnover for their equaliser, and he loses his head, really. He gets a yellow, probably could have got another yellow. He eventually gets hooked. Sterling, awful, been awful for a while now. I try and defend him in theory. Why Pochettino, calls for him and utilises him, but if he's going to play like this, I said it before as well, Sterling plays better when the team plays better. He's not going to be the hero ball elevator individual like Hazard when everyone's playing bad. He'll just lift it. He doesn't do that, and therefore, if the team's playing badly, how are you going to forecast? We're going to play terrible in this game, so let's not play Sterling. But at the moment, no excuses for Raheem Sterling at all. Mudryk, who really worries me at the best of times, although I have great long-term hopes for Mudryk, being a very talented young player, which is not the state of Raheem Sterling. He looks better than Sterling when he came on. But it's so difficult because Mudryk, everyone, all analysts, YouTubers, podcasters, journalist podcasters were saying, Mudryk's been worryingly bad of late and he needs to be taken out of the firing line. So what do you do? Like, who do you friggin' choose? Well, maybe you choose Nkunku on the left, Nicholas Jackson up top, and Cole Palmer on the right. So Cole Palmer got his goal, did some nice stuff, looked very frustrated before the end. I don't really feel sorry for him because he's still having a really good individual season, and therefore he's, it's a really good start to his first campaign as a young man starting all the games. So, and maybe had Chelsea been a really good team, he wouldn't be getting as many goals, and maybe he wouldn't be on penalties. And do you know what I mean? This is all speculation, but maybe the current state of affairs is giving Cole Palmer the platform to shine. So I don't really feel bad for Palmer, but he's certainly the bright spark. Gallagher, just poor. I feel like he's just, for different reasons, like Sterling. I think if we play better, Connor looks better. I don't know, man. I do wonder, with Carney coming in and just looking more offensively threatening, that I know he can't do the high turnover pressing and running like Connor does, but I wonder if eventually the system of Chelsea protects us better, then you're less likely to need a firefighter like Conor Gallagher running around the one touch. And Nkunku nearly scored in a couple of minutes. Didn't really get a chance to get his foot in the ball otherwise, but neither here nor there, but you can tell he's quality in Nkunku. All right. And, substitutes, Mudryk look good. And that's it. So let's talk about the bigger picture. First of all, before I get into it, credit to Wolves and Gary O'Neill. They will be very disappointed with their first half performance against Man United, which they nearly came back to get something from. Of course, it was a Kobe Mainoo super goal in the end that saw them not get anything from that game. But, had they played up to their potential in the first half, I think they probably would have maybe beaten what is a much better Man United side, who have just... I looked at the West Ham team they're playing. It's full strength West Ham. And United, I believe they swatted them aside. 3-0 they won. So Wolves, congratulations. Despite Chelsea being very poor lately, we've been okay at home. And then they've completely, comprehensively beaten us there. No controversial refereeing decisions like against Liverpool. Gallagher went down for a penalty, but it wouldn't have been. It's not a penalty for me. And Chelsea are bad again. So Chelsea, let me just explain what Chelsea are firstly. Chelsea are a bunch of children that panic, run around, aren't confident in themselves, have moments of good play, and that's about it. Certain players... Okay. Chelsea fans chanting for Roman Abramovich in the stands. Now, obviously, the previous Chelsea owner can't and won't return. Obviously, the new Chelsea owners aren't going to sell. I think the Chelsea fans singing that, I don't want to do them a disservice. I think they're doing it they're not asking for Roman Abramovich to come back. They're doing it as like, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think it's like a sort of protest, a statement to what, by the way, have been incredibly patient match-going fans. I do try and say it sometimes, but I don't say it enough. I feel the Chelsea fans that go away to some of these performances, the away games that we've been pretty poor, I feel so bad for the away fans that travel up there, and they deserve the utmost respect. And they had been very, very patient. Very, very patient. Now, so when they sing this, and by the way, we are in the bottom half of the Premier League table for the second season in a row, like, they're absolutely well within their right to start saying whatever they want now. But I don't think they're asking for the previous owners to come back, which can't happen. I think they're using that, two names, to be like, this is what we're used to. We've been patient for you, and this is where we're at now, and this isn't good enough. And I totally get that. Like I said, I saw Benavente, it was a tweet or on Instagram, my friend Louis saying that Chelsea fans joining in. Some Chelsea fans were sacked in the morning to Pochettino. Again, Chelsea fans have been very patient with all managers, with, Potter. And of course, now Lampard wasn't really a thing, really, was it? And now Pochettino. The owners aren't going anywhere, right? So the owners... And in terms of the owners, again, it's all theory because nothing matters until you win football matches. I've always wanted a plan at Chelsea. I've always wanted sporting directors at Chelsea. I've always wanted lower wages on Chelsea rather than just giving out silly salaries to just older players that aren't going to have any resale value. And then in theory, the way these owners have come in and said, look, younger players, talents, develop, incentive-based wages. I signed off on all of it, and I was like, wow, my dream is coming true in terms of Chelsea being run as a sensible big boy club. None of it means bollocks if you just get touched up every week, and ultimately, that's what will dictate. I like the ideas from the owners. I also like how they attended games early doors. Granted, they've got a bit quiet now because they probably think it's good to keep their heads down while we're getting touched up as well. But I liked how they wanted to go and cheer Chelsea on, and so many Premier League clubs have absent owners. And I like, it's a bit vulgar and maybe there was misspent money, but I liked how fans love owners spending money. When owners don't spend money, fans protest. The owners aren't going anywhere. It is what it is. Look, I don't want to defend them because I don't want to swear. They effed up. They're clearly learning and they're not doing well at the moment. For all the intentions in the world, it's bad, bro. This is undeniably, irrefutably bad. And these sporting directors that I always wanted, I felt like Emenalo, though he was a divisive character at the Chelsea fans, I thought he was a loss. And I thought that role at Chelsea was a loss. This guy that worked as, if nothing more, a mediator between management and coaches and first-team coaches. I feel like I do feel like they're an important figure in all big successful footballing institutions from around Europe. You need sporting and footballing directors. Chelsea, apparently researched that and got the best two they think they could find. Again, what are these men doing? They're not talking to fans. They're buying play, but there's no success. So you go, right, football, losses, football matches, losses on the pitch, players, manager. So you look at the manager. So we're down to the manager now, people. And Pochettino, right? He is, I don't know, what is he? Again, I look at lineups and they go, great. I looked at the lineup today and I was very happy with that. I was like, okay, so people would like to see Chukwuemeka start, but he's obviously not fit to start. He'll come on, he'd feature. Again, Nico didn't come back from AFCON quick enough. He can't start. Great, but they both feature. Mudryk comes on. It's fine. Like, the 11's fine, and the substitutes are fine. Everything's fine in that sense. The football isn't fine. So is the coaching. Again, and this is the last time I mention it, at least for this video. In theory, Pochettino is the perfect coach for Chelsea. They interviewed him for 3 months. I've always nailed my colours to the mast. I've never thought he's a winner. I never think he's going to be the guy to bring Chelsea truly to where we want to be. But I feel like in the meantime, he's an appropriate guy to make us this, like, you know, attacking football side and developing young players, who's not going to protest against his owners, and is going to behave like an adult, essentially, which is all true. But Chelsea are just bad. Look, man, I have sympathy for Pochettino, because I'd have sympathy for any freaking manager who's in that position. Who'd you bring in? Look, I know people are upset and emotional and they're just calling for Mourinho, but again, I've said it before, I've said it again, he's the antithesis of the, granted, failing project, but the project that we've invested in. And when you bring in an entity that's the antithesis of a project that you've invested in, that would, by the way, want to spend their own money, and if Chelsea are walking the tightrope of financial fair play and profit and sustainability rules as it is, bringing in like a Mourinho who would be like, let me sign this, I'm not going to try and do a Portuguese accent, but let's sign this 32-year-old and give him 300k a week just so I can try and get top 4 for this. You know, it's and then Chelsea will truly be in FFP trouble. Sadly, I don't have any answers and solutions for you, because we are in deep here, man. It's not over this season, of course. Somehow, if we have a miracle and beat Liverpool, we win a trophy. 1 game at Wembley, we win a trophy and we qualify for Europe. It's that close. It's one good 90-minute performance and we win. But it doesn't seem likely at the moment. And of course, we replay Villa in a few days at their own gaff in their own backyard, and they've just touched up a team 5-0. So it's not looking good, bruv. But hey, guys, I'm going to stay with you all the way. And if you want to stay with me, do consider subscribing. Close to 180k, I haven't checked. We might have passed it, we might not. If we haven't passed it, you could be the one that sends me over to 180,000 subs. Thanks for liking, friends. We'll get there eventually. And yeah, comment, because I look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Peace.